Good morning, everyone. This is Martin Wong with the Breakfast Show, Money Talk with SmartRobie, and we are here for another day, which is the Friday, and almost we are already at the month of August. Now, remember yesterday we have Dow Jones really jumping up with the good report. No doubt the Democrats and the Republicans are unable to reach an agreement, but they know they have to reach agreement. So that's why partly the Dow Jones jump up. And also Apple, the tech stocks continue to move higher, as we've seen locally for a lot of the local stocks also done very, very well. So let's take a look at our story for today. For those of you who are listening for the first time, just type in 1 so I know that you're really following us, and don't forget to download a copy of our SmartRobie, which is very, very popular among the new millennium and so new investors. And yesterday I also did a workshop with UOB Kay Hiang to sort of showcase to some of the wealth planners, to some of the members in there, and later that video will be available on the SmartRobie Facebook website. So check it out later in there. And let's move on to our story for this morning. Is no other than, yes, that's right, the KLCI performance that we always talk about, how well you have done. If you look back, year 2020, let me just bring up the pointer in here. You could see actually we are going around in circle. The red lines, the 2019, you can see we are still pretty much couldn't break above the 1700 level. And then we have the 2008, that was the election year where the Pakatan Harapan came in, and that's why we subsequently fall the market. And then 2020, it is the COVID-19. That's right. It's a year that most people want to forget. That's right. How many of you really want to forget this year of the COVID, isn't it? Right. But I do notice many people have learned a new skill, whether it is cooking, whether it is baking a cake, or a second skill, maybe learning how to code, or more importantly, many of you have learned how to use Robie more effective and learning how to trade shorter time frame and got into some of those premium alert that we talk about, which I will talk about in the later slides, right? So I think that's a new skill that no one can deny, that once you have the investing and the trading skills, that's the one you want to have. And with the market, whether it is Malaysian market that you see here, which is currently this blue line that you see, it's continuing to go up because of the recovery that we see, and also partly thanks to the rubber glove sector, which is a huge demand from worldwide, no doubt only from the medical, but now the hotel and the travel industry would have to put on their rubber glove. That's right. So that's why we are seeing this market going up. Good or bad, you let me know and give me a thumbs up. Okay, give me a thumbs up and see how things going up so far in here, just like the fangs inside there. So the report also talk about, this is from the HCO, many of the small cap stock like LTE and MTAG. That's something we're going to talk about because we picked this one. Ocean Cash, Notion, also we picked that one. Tomel, the Gold, Hexa, and the others, Notion VX, Notion, of course, this is the warrant shares. But if you look on the right hand side, no doubt the market is still soft today. As you can see, right now it's -4 point or down -0.26 on the right hand side of the screen. You could see still down, and this is also due to the overall market breadth is down. It's just that the small caps are doing pretty well. So do take note, 54 companies hit 52 weeks high, and that's pretty good. And also we had a turnover of 16.68 billion with 8.5 million value, around 716 winners. And remember, according to the analyst who written this section of this story, that he said that August month usually for the KLSE is a losing month, but take note, maybe on the 14th of August is the release of Malaysia GDP figures. Now, what do you think? Do you think our GDP figure is going to go up or go down? Type it in there. Let me know if you think the GDP figure is going to go up or go down for this one in here. All right. So let's take a look at the market that we see here, just pushing up. You can see right now we are still at the orange trend zone, which typically means it's bearish. The trend has stopped from the blue section. Now it's red. It's very important that it stays above the 1560 and 1544. Certainly the 1610 is the level that it has failed to break. But again, we need to wait for the green pentagon. Like you can see here, the green pentagon This is the one right at the screen there. That's the one you need to see. It comes out, then you will see the market continue to go up. Let's move on to our next story, shall we? Now, the next story is talk about the property sector. Now remember Penjana, which you talk about by our Prime Minister, number 8, Tan Sri Muhyiddin, talk about they are relaxing on the LGBT tax, and right now with the interest rate cut and the government are spurring interest. But this article was quite interesting. They talk about the buyer demographics, Now remember, when you bought your first property, how old were you? Can you type it in there? How old were you when you bought your first property? When you're 20 years old or when you're 30 years old? Now, this is quite interesting. When I bought my first property, definitely not I'm 20 lah. No money lah, where got money? Only 30 plus I got money. Someone have to borrow from father for the deposit. I think some of you may also have the same situation. Do I say this makes sense or not? Now, the story is quite interesting because it talks about the demographic for some of those property for Eco World. And this is from the president and CEO, Dato' Chang Kim-Wah. He said that the buyer demographics right now, 70% are below 40 years today, which means many of the buyers are below 40 years compared to only 43% in 2015. And out of those 70%, 20% are them in 20 years old. That's right, 20 years old, and 50% of the buyer are in 30 years old. So to me, I see this, is it a worrying sign or is it a new trend? Or is it because the parents couldn't get any more loans and that's why they decided to buy the property under their children's name, and that's why we get a younger demographic? What do you think of this segment? To what does this make, right? Is this possible? People at 20 years old. Now, some of you are just keying in 22 plus. That's pretty good for property because many of you are listening right now are actually from the property sector. I also started from a property, but property very difficult to cari makan. I think stock market easier, right? So this is something that, is it a new trend or is it a worrying sign that the property in here? Let's move on to our next story for the day. Now, next story talk about the QE at work. Okay, the QE at work, I apologize for behind in here. So what is saying that the QE at work, which talks about the US continue to print more money because of the money supply. As you can see, the post-COVID recovery, US are definitely dishing out about $600 and some to around $1,200 depending how you look at it, because many people in US have no job because of the closing economy. If you watch the TV behind me, you will notice also the number of cases continue to hit the hotline. They're one of the largest number of cases in the world. So with the continuation of printing new money, and the story cover about why US dollar will weaken. If it does weaken, it's small percentage in here. Definitely if you look from here, ringgit has appreciated almost 5% in here, depending when you look at it. Anyway, the pesos also has appreciated. The green one in here, the one had depreciated are those economy that was quite badly hit, especially Indonesia. We all know that they have one of the cases inside. South Korea, just a very small percentage in here, nothing much of a concern. But the real concern, and this brings out the opportunity which I'm going to talk about, because QE, for those of you who don't know, entering first time in the stock market, you will notice QE means the printing of new money by central banks, means there are more money going to the supply that will fuel the US market. And right this year, going up to November 3rd, which I will keep flashing you guys if you intend to follow me, there is what we call the US election. So with the QE in place, means US stocks is going to go up. And that's one of the reasons why in our masterclass is something that we cover extensively on the KLSE market, and we try to teach you and follow up. But the US market is where the good opportunity are going forward. No doubt, the ringgit will get softened, but the US market is going to go up. That's why we saw even the tech sectors has gone up. And what we want to do also to teach you how to rotate out if there is a change in the tech sectors to other sectors that's moving up, or maybe going to something else. And that's what's gold, maybe gold, right, which we will do in one of our topics in there too. So this story talks about the QE. Now the next story talk about the Borneo Highway, which because the budget 2021 is coming up this coming October, so there's a lot of talk about resuming some of those projects, especially in Sabah and Sarawak that they talk about in here. So HSL, one of the construction in Sarawak, the big construction and also property in here, record a 50% drop in the revenue to 83 million, but 74 million of them comes from construction, 9.1 million comes from property. So on the second quarter of 2020, compare what they did again to 175 million in COVID-19. Now HSL profit also down to just short of 4 million from 16 million. That's a lot, starting back, and their project only starting at 60% capacity, so they need to ramp it up if they're going to build more. So that's the current situation, which is a labor shortage. Now, those of you who are listening are from the construction side. If you are, is this the same thing? If it is, just type in labor there. So this is what we are experiencing for most part in the Sabah and Sarawak side. So, okay, for the next story, which is quite interesting, we talk about the Serbadk, which is an oil and gas player, but they also diversified to construction. And on SmartRobie, if you can check it in now, just bring it up in here. I'll put Serba, okay, BADK, and you will see this is definitely an undervalued stock. So undervalued stock in here, that tells you a 7 out of 8. Of course, the oil and gas currently are moving up, and you can see this also pay a 3% with the ROE at 18 with the PE of 11. So this does tell you has a lot of potential in there. Now, what do you think? Do you think this is good? But let's look at the chart wise. All right, let's look at the chart wise, and I do think chart wise this fella is starting to make some sort of a move. Yeah, that's right. So not yet. He hasn't turned. It did turn green Pentagon, but the market break down because of that one. But who knows? This is a good point to accumulate for those who are thinking longer term on Serbadk. When you see the crude oil prices move up, the oil prices move up, and you see Serbadk finally moving up. It's just that over this post COVID-19, the recovery seems soft for the oil demand, and that's why Serbadk down. Of course, you have to buy something when the market doesn't want it, and Serbadk do present it. If you want to look at it, do take a look at the trading plan for Serbadk. Let's move on to our next story in here is the 5G. That's right, another tech stock. Unisem just reported in here, but the stock price has run a lot. Let's take a look at Unisem. Okay, Unisem. Okay, let me hit it in there. Just want to show you the chart inside here, right? And he has run a lot. So if you look at the chart wise, and it does has high volume on the up thrust bar on the right hand side, you can see usually that is a sign to take profit. It's not the time to go in. But the story also talk about the global smartphone shipment has fell 24% over the last quarter due to the COVID-19. So the COVID-19 has caught in that, but like it or not, the demand for 5G will grow in the post-COVID-19. Very simple. The story says that during COVID, not much shipment. Post-COVID, got recovery, and 5G is going to ship up because China is made up of one of the biggest demand for 5G phone. That's right. I don't know, y'all remember way back in about 10 years ago when the 5 phone came out, about NTT Docomo, about how fast the South Koreans and the Japanese handphone compared to the European or the US, which is running on Nokia and Siemens. Remember that? You used to use a Nokia handphone? That's something similar happening right now. But except now the technology is dominated by the Chinese, the 5G. All right, the 5G, the Huawei, and you can see the dominance used to be between the Koreans and the Japanese. Now the Chinese has taken over, and that's why they command almost 1/3 of the world demand at 170 million pieces out from 250 million shipment. Interesting story to know about 5G, and that's what a lot of companies like Inari, Unisem, Globetronics, look at the tech sectors that I've talked about on the 100-to-1 share investor, which is available on YouTube. I have a stock pick on the technology, so take a look at that list. Okay, so let's move on now. This is the point that we talk about in here, and of course last Wednesday we picked Excel Force, also moved 6% in here, but bonus, that's right, finally our record first time record in 3 days, MTAG. This is also similar to the first story we talked about just now ago. Our first slide, we see 54 companies hit 52-week high, and MTAG is one of those stocks that appeared in our premium list that you see on the right hand side here. Let me just show you. This is the one that appeared on the 3rd of August, that we pick it up on episode 36. This is today is episode 38. All right, so another bonus also is AppAsia, which we picked on the 27th of July. That's right, went up by 32.2%. Now, always said before, give it a bit of time before the market move because you are going very early. SmartRobie have the algorithm to detect this, right? So at the 9:31, I'll pick one for you guys, okay? So are you ready for the next stock? If you're ready for the next stock, type 2, all right? Because this one already jalan. Please don't ask me whether you want to go in or not. There is more horses, kuda to ride, okay? There is horses for everybody. Don't worry. This one already jalan, let it go. Look for another one. So let's move on to the next kuda that we're going to look at is eSafe. That's right, it came out on 9:30. eSafe, you all know. Let's take a look at eSafe, okay? And I'm just going to put in here, right? eSafe. Okay, let's look at eSafe. eSafe, it's a rubber. You know rubber. I'll show move one. Okay, you can see 1.6% in here, 32 cents, 32.5 cents. Let's look at the stock chart in here. I don't think it has run up yet. Not many people know about eSafe. You can look at the fundamentals. It's a pretty new company. As a matter of fact, never heard of it before. They may have done some sort of rubber glove or plastic glove, and then they're going to do PPE and boom, go to Jalan one. Okay, so who knows when we come back next week. By the way, this coming Monday, there won't be any SmartRobie as I'll be doing our third day for our masterclass. Do take note, Monday we won't be doing any breakfast show, so we'll resume on next Wednesday. Okay, next Wednesday. And also next Wednesday there won't be any evening session because I'll be doing the US market for our masterclass. Something that I felt there's a lot of sharing that I want to do on seeing some of the things and trend that I see. I want to share with the masterclass students in here, those of you registered, and let's make a bit of wealth money from the US side, because I will be putting some of my own money on the US side and we can do it together too. So that's for the US market on Wednesday section for the masterclass. Those of you coming on masterclass, great, we will see you guys in here. So this is eSafe. The stock has gone up, but again, I do believe, just like many of the earlier one like MTAG, K1, Globetronics, Notion VTech, which I picked, has done pretty well too. The earliest one we start was Comark, then we have LuxChem, all jalan also lah, because all these are focused purely on the price and volume, and eSafe is definitely one of those today in here. All right, so so the next slide that I have, and finally, is for those who really want to know more how we pick those stocks in here. This is the slide that I normally flash out for the premium alert, but someone did ask me why I so stingy pick one. I'll pick another one, okay? So I'll pick another one. I'm going to go back to this slide and pick another stock, premium alert. Let's see this round for the 10 o'clock session in here. Okay, Muda Julian. Oh, Julian is MTAG or still flying lah. Okay lah. Mcom already fly already. WZSatu, Mystrom. Okay, 0207. Okay, Mystrom. Okay, 0. Okay, let's look at that one. Let's look at the chart formation in here. This is pretty new. Okay, 10% gain already. Already fly already. Let's take a look at this one in here. Okay, Mystrom should be technology. Sounds like technology to me, isn't it, right? Let's look at the chart formation first, okay? Oh, this one already fly. You can see a long period accumulation in there, and this thing, this fly up too much already. Muda, which is I think it's a industrial product. Julian, MTAG. Let's look at Julian, which is a very conservative. I kind of like Julian in here, and it's always been a good dividend payment. It's not the fast one, but I want to pick something slower today. And let's take a look at Julian. Wow, 14% also gone up. Wow, so much. Okay, no need lah this one. Okay, let's look for another one. I just want to pick one more for you guys anyway. Muda, MTAG, Mcom, W7245. Okay, which I picked up earlier before. WZSatu. Okay, don't tell me they're also going to PPE. Okay, 9%. Let's take a look at this one. If all of them have run, then we just look at eSafe. Okay, and okay, let's look at WZSatu in here. Okay, this one looks okay. WZSatu will be the stock. It hasn't run up. The nice, you can see also on green pentagon for this one. So that's we have two stocks, WZSatu and eSafe, for the picks for 7th of August. All right, so I hope you like that, and we will come back next Wednesday to look at this. So give it a bit of time. So this is the distribution of the winners and losers. As I said before, we show you the plus and we show you the positive. The positive like MTAG as well as what was the stock that went up today? AppAsia, Globetronics and K1. There is also some on the dark side. So 68% of all the stock pick fall between -8 and 25%. Of course, today we break the record. First time, 74% already in here. So we felt pretty good. The record is leaning towards more to the right, which is a positive return. And the mean return is 8.9%. Something those who like statistics, so we show you this. All right. Again, the QR code is over there if you want to find more how we pick those stocks. All right. And don't forget, this weekend will be our masterclass, and for our 3-day course, the class is already full up. Thank you for your support. For those of you who are registered, we have a full class. We can't take any more people in there, so we told them you can register for the for the October session. Okay, so we'll keep that for those. But the good thing is, for those of you who is coming this weekend, you can also re-attend back in October, because I felt that this is a good time to learn, because right now you have the November election, US one. You will see that rally on, and we're going to be looking at US and Malaysia. At least you know how to rotate from KLSE if it doesn't do well to the US market, and something I think will really benefit in there. All right, very important. But October still okay. You can register for the October one, because October then November, correct? Okay, so that'll be good. So let's watch it. So it's a proven way to trade to the KLSE and US market. With that, thank you for coming today. And for those of you who are first time, this is a QR code to join for all our free stock information, free trade idea, free stock idea, like we just share with you. All this, all totally free. SmartRobie is also free during off hours, but if you want to pick up the premium alert, do share that with that. So with that, thank you very much for your good support, and I'll see you next Wednesday, the earliest. If not, for those of you coming for the masterclass, I'll see you this weekend, and we're going to have a good time. Bye bye.